Hi, Joe. My name is Gonzalo. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. And thanks for this conversation in this morning. Where are you right now? In London?
I'm at home in London for the first time, or it feels like the first time in about a year.
Oh, that's tough because I would imagine that when you arrive to your home, it's such a mess of all the things that you live for doing this record, and you have to choose between making music and going all around your home.
Yeah, music normally wins.
That's right. Tell me about the creative process of this record.
It's very different to our other records. We're big believers in self-inspiration. So we try and change it up every time we make an album. And this time we built our own studio, and Dom, the other guitarist in the band, he produced the record, and we made it a concept record. And all these things came together to sort of make it feel very fresh for us. So hopefully fresh for everyone else as well.
Tell me, so does all the things that were happening in the world does influence the production of this record, like the pandemic, all the stress and all the post-pandemic and the lockdown, or it was something that doesn't matter?
Well, not the pandemic, because on purpose, I didn't want to write any songs about the pandemic. I'm done with the pandemic. I'm finished. I want to forget it ever happened. So it was kind of like a conscious decision, because Moral Panic, our last album, lasted quite a long time because of the pandemic. It felt like we were in that world of Moral Panic for a long, long time. So we had to kind of think of ways to get our headspace out from that album and into a new album. So that's why this sort of Dead Club City concept record is kind of about this fictional place that we've created, because it was very, very different to what we've been writing before.
Right now that it's so common to talk about multiverses, it's like another universe for you and your friends, but you are inviting the people to go to this club.
In some ways, I think I like that there's a bit of mystery about this place. That's kind of what we wanted to keep. We don't know if it is like another universe or another planet, or it could be heaven, or it could be the world but with no countries, and it's just more like a corporate countries, rather than run by governments. That's kind of another big thing, I guess, on the album. It's a lot about advertisement. So I guess I was thinking about how people who run social media and wealth tend to have more power than they ever used to, and how that would progress if they were in charge so much more than governments were.
And I would think that how those the people can get up and protest of this kind of monopoly of power and money.
Yeah, I think there's parts of that in the album. All the songs on the record, from the points of view of different characters in this Dead Club City world. So I like the thought there are different narratives going on. I didn't want the album to just be, oh, here's a dystopian other world and it's all evil. It felt really basic to do that. So there are some people and some narratives on the album where they quite like it, or they haven't quite discovered what it's about yet, or they're looking forward to going, or they've met someone outside the world and they're forming a relationship. And all these different narratives were kind of what kept it interesting for us to write from different characters rather than just from normal, the band, how it normally be.
It was easier or more difficult to imagine a different world or a dystopian city than making other kind of songs or other kind of music?
The hard bit was that we want the songs to still stand up outside of the concept. If you don't know the backstory of Dead Club City, I think you can listen to these songs and you still get a feeling from them, and that they work on two levels. You don't need to know the concept. They work elsewhere. That was kind of tough to get my head around a bit when I was writing the lyrics, because they had to work on two different planes. That was difficult, but halfway through, gone.
which was the most difficult song to write? Because if you are making the lyrics, I would think that you have like a narrative way, and in a part
Yeah.
you have to choose where to cut the narrative.
Yeah, there was a bit of that. The most difficult one, I think there was Overcome. There's a song called Overcome, which is the second single from the album. I wrote about 80 verses for that song, because what I discovered was that I was trying to put too much information into the verse. And what that song really is, it's a road trip song, and it's like a very carefree, throw your stuff in the bag and go type song. And all I really had to do was kind of create the feeling of that rather than give too much narrative. So once I discovered that, it was okay, but it took a long time for me to do that.
When you are writing songs and you are producing all the record, are you thinking about how it will be on a live act? How will be the show? How will be the presentation with an audience?
I think I always have in the back of my mind, I kind of know how an audience might react to certain songs, and like, you know, if this is a song that's going to make the crowd go doof, 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 and everyone jump up, or if it's going to be one where everyone gets on the shoulders and sing, I kind of know that. But as far as arrangement, we try and not think about that too much. You don't want to go into the studio going, oh, how will we ever do this live? Because that can be quite limiting, and it kind of puts constraints on what you might do. So now we have the problem. Now the studio work's done. When we go and play these songs live, now we've got to figure that out. That's today's problem.
And now you are thinking about that, but because you have made the record, and making this kind of interviews and conversations, it's the easy part. But presenting with the audience and seducing them, I would think is the tough part.
No, other way around.
And really?
Well, you're easy to talk to. That's fine. But I feel like I have to concentrate still when I basically, I think in a way, being on the road and touring it's almost the easiest part of my job. It's not an easy job, but I know that every single day I just need to go and play the best show that I can play that night. That's my job. My job that day is to play the best show I can play. Sometimes when you're doing the other bits of the band, like trying to write a song or make decisions about where the band should go, that's quite difficult because there's no definite answer. But on the road, I know what the definite answer is, I guess.
My time is running out, so I have two more questions.
Sure.
The first of it is you are like you have about 10, 11 years with Nothing But Thieves. How do you think? Do you imagine being in this kind of success and this kind of empathy with the audience after all these years?
No. I'll be honest. I was never even meant to be in music. I was at university. I was studying ancient history at university. I've never taken a music lesson in my life. I can't read music. I was just good at being in a band, I think. And then, you know, the band ended up getting signed and I finished university, and then every album since then seemed like a blessing. And I can't believe people are still allowing us to do it. But it's I feel very lucky that we are doing it.
Well, you feel very lucky, but you are working a lot. As you were telling me, you are on your home after a year, and that is some kind of sacrifice.
Yeah, I think it is luck, but I think you can also help yourself. I think there are the two things that make a band, though. I think hard work and luck. You need both. You can't just have one. And we are lucky enough at the moment to have both.
Do you have any advice for emerging bands that are going on the path or making music right now?
Yeah. Don't follow what you think the trend is now. Follow what you want to make the trend in the future.
What a great advice, Joe.
Well, thanks.
Thank you very much for this conversation. I hope to see you soon in person, not in Zoom. It's nice to talk with you, but I would think that seeing you in person and in the stage will be great.
Absolutely. We're going to try our best to come. I promise.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.